Ether Marauder, 4 mana, 2/2 flying lifelink. Oh my god, it's Vampire Hex Mage. Wait, Nighthawk. Okay, when it ETB, move any +1/+1 counters from other permanents you control onto this.
Oh man.
Yeah, you can't steal their stuff, but you can like get in a hit with your thing and then put it on this thing. It kind of reminds me of the Outcasts, the 2/2 that is a 4/4 if you hit them this turn, lifelink vampire.
Yep.
Reminds me a lot of that.
That card was weird and interesting.
Yep. And this thing is slightly like harder to proc, but has flying. Sure.
I think the Aetherborn are interesting, interesting creature type. I'm actually like impressed that they came up with it.
I agree. I like it a lot, and it's about time that
the Void needs to make an appearance.
Yes, both that the Void needs to make an appearance and that Black gets something that's not fucking zombies and vampires.
Yeah, the Void is such a cool concept, and we need to talk about it more.
Yep, I agree. That was my first tweet when I saw Kaladesh Kaladesh looks awesome. Like, I love the world and the art, and, you know, it's India and blah, blah, blah. 2, Ether is awesome, and it's great that we're finally getting to use it. And 3, artifact blocks are historically very scary power level wise. Those are like the 3 things that I first thought when I first saw the set.
Scary, it's true.
5 mana, 4/3, fabricate 1. Sure.
I wouldn't say it's ambitious, frankly.
No. Well, this is, as far as like the 5 mana bad filler creatures that Black always gets, this is one of the better ones.
Yep. This is not your Viscerid Lemur, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That is the Black Cleaves vampires. I've been playing the flashback drafts, like, oof.
Sure, I guess.
Ooh, yeah, it's legal. It's technically legal. You're allowed to play it.
Pomari Giant, yeah.
Demon of Dark Schemes, Unbeatable Bomb, Mythic Rare, 6 mana, 5/5 flying. ETB, all other creatures get -2/-2.
Oh, is that all?
No, there's actually 2 more abilities that are equally unbeatable. Whenever another creature dies, you get an energy. So it has the Massacre Worm thing, but instead of just killing them, you just get a bunch of energy. And then 3 mana, 4 energy. You don't even have to tap it. Put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control, but it is tapped.
So it's completely busted. Okay.
Yep, best limited bomb. You know, the fucking just giant unbeatable black bomb that they always get at Mythic. At least it's Mythic and not normal rare. And clearly, like, gonna be very, very fringe constructable if there's like black control decks that have problems with white weenies.
This is the Ob Nixilis Reignited of the set.
Yeah, it's like gonna be like a weird one of in sideboards or whatever. Agreed. Dahund? How would you pronounce this? Dund? Is it just Dund?
Sure.
Or is the D silent? Is it Hund?
Jund.
Jund.
It actually kind of sounds like Jund.
Jund.
Dund.
Operative. Grizzly Bear. As long as you control an artifact, it's +1/+0 and has Death Touch.
That's gonna happen a lot.
This thing is like gonna be one of the top black commons for sure, right?
And there's 2 of them, actually. And this card's gonna be busted as fuck.
Yeah, this thing is unreal. Death Touch is at a premium. 3 power is at a premium. 2 drops are at a premium.
If you have a vehicle, you have everything you need to start your own company.
Yeah, this thing is just great. Diabolic Tutor with the, like, weirdly...
Yeah, Chandra is, like, really, like... It doesn't even look evil. It just looks like a confused, like...
Yeah.
What would I do if I was evil face?
This face is like if you just look at Chandra's face and that was like a real picture instead of a painting, it would instantly become a meme.
It's Angelica.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Angelica. And it's also weird that like people are like, oh, 2 girls are like, this girl's whispering, so it's sexually charged. Like, this is a saucy picture. It's like, no, like
I think they went out of their way to make it like a different feel.
Yeah. Like, does this look like a very, like...
A great job.
Like, look at her face. She looks like she's constipated, not like, getting turned on. This is, that's not what's going on. Anyway, Diabolic Tutor, very, very fringe constructible, very, very occasionally, but there are generally better options, including right now. And in Limited, you would have to have the fucking Demon of Dark Schemes to want to be able to play this. But if you do, you might.
I agree with that.
Anything else to say before we move on?
Nope. Just a Billy Joel next.
Die Young. There's Live Fast, Die Young, which I like. Although that I wish that it was a split card. Like I wish they saved that name real estate for a split card later on. But Die Young is 2 mana. Choose target creature. You get 2 energy, and then you can pay any amount of energy to give it -1/-1 for each energy. So this
Sorcery is the killer here.
Yeah, sorcery is a killer, especially for removal that's -1 or -X. Is really bad because like Last Gasp was great because you could just play it and kill their thing, but you could also like take down their 5/5 with your 3/3. Like you could play it as straight up really hyper efficient removal or a really awesome combat trick or re-combat trick. Like it had all this like benevolent malevolency, whatever that card's called, the kicker one. Like that thing is great because you can do weird shit in combat with it, you know.
Like Die Young just has so much more to give that we're not going to get.
Yeah,
it's just like it's a kind of card you're gonna like maybe want. It's definitely like -2/-2. So like it's not the worst card in the world, you know.
Yeah.
But, like I can't say anything more positive than that. Like it's just a good removal spell that I will feel weird casting all the time because it's so weirdly bad.
Yep. But like killing a thing and leaving an energy behind, or just having a bunch of energy and killing a huge thing for 2 mana are both like decent modes. So it's gonna be played in. It's gonna be great, like totally playable to good in limited, and like probably not very constructable.
I guess if you compare it to like the 1/3s that give you energy, it's not like the worst ratio either. If you just don't even want to kill a creature, if that's what you're trying to do, but like. Honestly, like the versatility is what makes this card playable, and that just kind of makes me upset.
Yeah, well, like
it's good enough to play, and I hate it.
Kill a 2/1 flyer, get an energy is worth 2 mana, and like spend 2 other energy that you had lying around to kill a 5-drop for 2 mana are both playable modes, right? HC Fox says that it's poor formatting. It is not, because it has to say target in the beginning of the card name. Oh, I like how I'm answering it audibly and you're answering it in the chat. They have to say the better practices or the style guide for Magic design says target it has to say it at the beginning of the card. The big culprit for that was Gifts Ungiven, where it doesn't say that it targets until the middle of the card, so people would just cast it against Ivory Mask because you like search for 4 cards, and then you know the fact that it targets was very obfuscated, and so they fixed that you don't know if it targets. Choose implies that you are getting around protection. That is one of the implications, but also protection is like non-existent now, so that's not really a thing. That's something that you have in your brain, which I totally have too, because we've been playing long enough. That's how we shortcut the word choose, but that's not what the word choose means. This is totally fine templating. It's just a little weird to us because it's not what we're used to. But this is the better practices, so it's time we get used to it. Dakara Scavenger, 6 mana, 4/6. ETB, you may put target artifact or creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. So this is the Gravedigger. This is another card trope that we see a lot. And for the past, 5-6 years, whatever, one of the things that they've been working on in a lot of these developmental spaces that I'm going over, the Gravediggers, they're trying very hard to make it so that you can't just Gravedigger your Gravedigger back every turn. And
I thank him for doing that, but like, good luck, right? Like, that's such a fucking fine thread to needle. Like, I don't wish that on anybody. Yeah.
Well, putting it on top is like a fine way to do it, but also the way that they do it is like you just make the thing cost 6 mana instead of 4. It makes it a lot harder to get ahead. Like if you they make it cost more so that you can't really do that, and make it like a relevant body. Like 4/6, you don't want this thing like chump blocking so you can get it back again. Like this thing isn't chump blocking anything, it's fucking killing stuff, you know?
Right. It's good in a way that's more healthy for the game, and that's less like upsetting to players that can't get through.
It leads to healthier play patterns for sure. And
play patterns, man, that's a good way to put it.
Yep, and it's also like the card economy of this is a lot healthier. Like it's not just busted straight up get back my best card. It's I get back my best card, but I'm not also up that card. Like,
Exumer Thrall was what they don't want to do again.
Yeah, that stuff. Like, being up your best card and a card count is just too much of an advantage for a lot of these types of cards.
Yeah.
especially ones that fight themselves also.
This lets you be up a card without putting your opponent up a creek.
I'll allow it. 5 mana sorcery. I had to think whether I was going to allow it. 5 mana is an additional cost. 5 mana sorcery is an additional cost to cast Eliminate the Competition. Sacrifice X creatures, destroy X target creatures. So you're always going to be down the card, but the idea is that you sacrifice a bunch of servos and kill their awesome things.
Yeah, historically, cards like this are very difficult to make good, and they're highly picked by players that have big dreams of Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's very difficult to actually make it good.
Agreed. But when it is good, it's busted. Like, if you have a black-white tokens deck, you know, it can be super busted.
Devouring Greed.
Yes, except Devouring Greed was like a win con. Like, it was a fireball, you know? This thing is more like about incremental advantage. This thing is more of like, this thing is closer to Switcheroo than it is to Devouring Greed.
It's more like Hex with 6 cards. Yeah, with
when killing 5 just isn't enough.
Yeah.
Embral Bruiser, 2 mana, 3/1, ETB tapped, and it has Menace as long as you control an artifact.
Black is aggressive as fuck in this set.
I love it.
Yeah, they're getting in your face.
They are not messing around. I love how there's like these busted aggressive 2-drops and then a 6 mana Gravedigger that waits a turn. Like, the dichotomy, the split between those makes me laugh. But yeah, this thing is just great.
What's not to like? Yeah, it's like it's like the better version, not better because you can't block with it for turn 1 of the Scion one. You know that like now that it has Menace, like you kind of force the issue that you're not going to get a free trade out of me, bud. Right.
Yeah, Menace is really key for sets with Scions or Servos or whatever the tokens are.
I'm glad they're wardrumming more often. Like,
yeah,
they really underused wardrum and made it only one color, but like it is a fantastic way to navigate the chump block. It's kind of perfect.
Yes, because like tokens are a good thing to have around, but you can't just like have a bunch of X1s and shit with tokens or like 6/6s, right? If you have a bunch of 1/1s, your 6/6s and your X1s are both totally terrible design space. So I think that having things like this and the fact that they moved from fear to intimidate to menace, I think is a really good, or skulk to menace or whatever the continuation there was. I like menace the best of all of them. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. Essence Extraction. What?
This is another example of the 3 toughness I was talking about, but this card's fucking good.
Yep. 1 BB instant, which is really key. Deal 3 damage to a creature, gain 3 life. Huge swing if you're racing. Really solid removal spell that buys time if you're controlling. It's instant speed if you're tricking or re-tricking. Just all around awesome removal spell. It's uncommon, so you're not going to just like constantly lose to it, but also it has to be on your radar, and you're going to be really happy when you get to take one and play it.
I remember when I lost to Tendrils of Corruption, and I felt like kind of like cheated a little bit. But then, whenever I lose to a Lightning Helix, I'm like, all right, fine. You had it. You had it. And it's cool. Like, that's going to happen.
Well, because when they killed you with the Tendrils of Corruption, they had a bunch of non-swamps in play, but Urborg.
Yeah. Well,
that's what felt cheating about it.
Yeah, this card's like, all right, you know what, if you're going to go through all that trouble, fine. You know?
Yeah.
Like, but like this card, I don't know how to put it. Like, it's just like War Leader's Helix. Like, it just has that, like, I feel fine with this, even though I just got fucking wrecked.
Yeah, yeah. Even though I'm far behind on every axis now, it's reasonable.
As compared to like Ribbons at Night, for example, where I get fucked and I feel bitter.
Yeah. Well, Ribbons. Again, the card economy on it is just like pushes it over the top. Fortuitous Find, 2B sorcery. Choose one or both. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand, and or return a creature. So this is an ongoing theme.
This is a Grin discovery.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, this is good. There's a bunch of artifacts that sacrifice or things that, like, vehicles that trade off profitably and then you get them back.
This is Black's answer to Aether Trade Winds and the Acrobatic Mover.
Sure.
Like, if they're 3 mana, like, you can get more card advantage if you do it right.
This is the weird thing where it's like, this is a kind of grindy, control-y card in the color with all this aggressively stanced stuff too. That's usually a dilemma that white has. White has like walls and one drops. Like it has Wrath of Gods and 2/2s for 2, which don't really work together.
It's like mono red in the cube. If you don't do it right, you're just gonna have 2 bad decks.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like black is going to be kind of pulled in that way, where like a lot of people are going to be stuck in between aggressive and controlling, and just end up with a shitty black deck with a bunch of powerful cards.
You're going to change your mind over the next 2 cards and the rest of black. It is fucking hyper.
I mean, I think that black is good so far. I just think that it's split on the aggressive spectrum.
Stuff's coming.
Okay. Foundry Screecher, 2B for a 2/1 flyer.
What are you at?
Gets +1/+0 as long as you control an artifact. Another hyper aggressive stanced card.
This is a fair Ebon Drake if I've ever seen one.
So this is another like X1 that's worth noting for it's flying, so it's thought there's not servos and ping effects. This thing is also 3 power, is relevant for both for the vehicles and also because there are a bunch of like X3 flyers that would otherwise hold the fort, such as the not Nighthawk and the 4/3 flyer Cloud Elemental. Like there's a bunch that are just X3, so that 3rd power is huge. Anything else?
No, the card's great.
Fretwork Colony, 2-drop, 1/1, can't block. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a ++1 counter on it and lose a life. Tick-tock!
Yeah, and this card actually gets out of control pretty quick.
One of us is fucking dying.
And you don't actually lose that much life as the player that plays it. Like you're attacking with a 2/2, and then it's a 3/3.
Yeah, it scales real nice. It's like they have cumulative upkeep and you just have upkeep.
Yeah, and you know, they didn't even order the card.
Yeah, they had no say in the matter, and now they're in the
showed up on their doorstep.
Yeah, this thing is busted. And this thing is
uncommon. It's a very strong kind of Guildmage feely card, uncommon, but it's actually it's more innocuously looking than most good cards look like.
Well, the Guildmages scale late. This is like better early.
Yeah, well, I guess what I mean to say, it's overlookable.
Yes, very much so. I think this card is going to be great, and you can print cards like this when you have a bunch of servos and shit.
It's played at GOP. I mean, like it's just like it's one of those cards.
Right.
It's the best Retro Nord I've ever seen.
This is the prime target for the multiple like arrest type cards.
Yes.
Because you still hit yourself, and even if you have like a blinky thing to save it from the arrest, then you have to start from scratch.
And everything that can shut it down in terms of power or attacking is just gonna give it a Hillary Clinton.
Hillary Clinton?
I don't know, man. It's getting.
Yeah, this thing is real nice but real dangerous. Gonti, Lord of Luxury. The fact that this is just a normal rare and not a mythic blows my mind. 2BB, 2/3 Death Touch. ETB, look at the top 4 cards of target opponent's library. Exile one of them face down.
I lost you.
Then put the rest on the bottom of their library in a random order. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may look at it, you may cast it, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast it.
I feel like I'm in a deposition.
So this is a 2/3 for 4 Death Touch that impulses.
Kind of on your opponent's library,
which is insane.
Yeah, and you have a chance to really fuck up your opponent big time.
Yes, you get a ton of information. You get you can get something that like it not being in your hand is relevant, right? Like it's in this off to the side safe zone, and you can cast it whenever.
You can't get a land. That's interesting. Well, you can't.
Right.
You can't cast it.
Yeah, you can't cast it. You have to cast it.
Unless it's Zoetic Cavern.
What?
I said unless it's Zoetic Cavern.
Oh. I don't know if you can cast morphs off this. I guess I don't see why you wouldn't. But
Oh, actually, no. Now that I think about it, it's using 2 alternate cost. Maybe I don't know. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. But either way, this is what like Hearthstone and people in the chat are already saying it. This is like a digital card. Like this is a card that would be in Hearthstone or Eternal or something like that. because you can't, have their cards that they own in your zones. But Exile gets around that, and I think that this thing is just
play. Jesus, the more I think about this card, the more amazing it is. And
yeah, it's busted
in any format. Holy shit.
Yeah, I think this is a legitimately great card.
Holy shit, I am in love.
I think this is comparable to really, Kaladesh and stuff.
I mean, Kaladesh is it has that toughness boost, but this is like a Mole Drifter I can get behind.
Yeah, exactly. Super into it. I'm pretty surprised it's not mythic also. Harsh Scrutiny, Ostracized Scry 1. Sure. Oops. The targeted discard, they've been a little gun-shy about since Thoughtseize, and rightfully so. But they're also really good at printing busted creatures, so I think that this thing is totally fine and good. The fact that...
Yeah, Thoughtseize being able to take cards like Wrath of God was the problem.
Yeah. And also so many of the, Crux key turn plays that you want to, knock a hole in their hand are now Planeswalkers instead of creatures also. So you're still, I think the Despise would be too close to Thoughtseize right now, and I think that Harsh Scrutiny is a good bridging of that.
They were under plenty of Harsh Scrutiny up until now.
Yes. Lawless Broker, 3 mana, 3/2. When it dies, put a ++1 counter on a target creature you control. Another aggressively stanced, very strong, good curve filler. Not constructible, but good and limited.
I do like that it's a 3/2 for 3, which is barely below average, but the ability just gives it enough value that I don't feel bad I played it.
Yep, agreed. I am going to go back to Harsh Scrutiny for a second. I will also say that I like tagging Scry on your discard spell, because missing with a Duress is a really, really bad feeling. Sometimes it's oh, you don't have anything? Good. I win.
Direction or whatever.
Or sometimes it's having the card and being able to throw it away to a Liliana or something is or Jace or whatever gets around the discard conundrum, but in standard you don't really have a lot of that. So putting something on your thing that can miss for value is nice. Live Fast. So this is the other half of Live Fast Die Hard. 2B Sorcery. Draw 2 cards, lose 2 life, get 2 energy. Painful Truths is gone, but do we still have Read the Bones? Or no, Read the Bones is Origin, so Read the Bones is gone too, isn't it?
This is our next best option.
Yeah, if I'm correct that Read the Bones is gone, then this will probably see play. If Read the Bones is still around, I imagine Read the Bones would box this out. But yeah, and then it's solid and limited because you can use the energy pretty well. Oh, Painful Truths is still around? All right, then Painful Truths is going to be boxing this out for sure. Yeah, that's right, Extended card, good call. Yeah, I mean, Painful Truths is legitimately great. The only reason you would play something not Painful Truths is because Queller gets it too good. But
it's weird. This card's a common. That's very strange to me.
No, these are always common.
Not always.
Sign in Blood.
At 3, I don't know, at 3 mana. Usually, I don't know why I'm thinking this. I just
Succumb to Temptation. They're pretty commonly common.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Yeah, Energy is another one of those things where it's just it's so we don't know if that's going to be better or worse than the alternatives. But
yeah.
Lost Legacy 1BB. I've seen this one. So this is the cranial extraction of the set, which they do one of these every year or two. Not every single set, but name a non-artifact, non-land card. Search their graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with that name and exile them, and they shuffle. But here's the part that's unique about this, besides it being 3 mana and non-artifact being a clause. Then that player draws a card for each card that you named and exiled, then hit in their hand.
Too complicated. I don't even know what they're trying to get at.
Yeah, I mean, these cards are all just stupid. But these types of cards are very rarely good, and when they are, it's very fringe. And the fact that this one like gives them their card back when you hit, that's like the best part of using a cranial extraction effect is that you can
part that made it remotely playable.
Exactly. It's like the only part that made it good was that you could sometimes like get your card back, and sometimes you just get both, get 2 or more copies and completely blow them out. So the reason that this clause is here, besides to justify it at 3 mana instead of 4, because the only other 3 mana one is you can only name a creature. So this, you can name creature, but you can't name an artifact. But you can target yourself, which you can already target yourself with all of these effects, which you do occasionally see, but you can, like if you just have 2 rampant growths in your hand, you can turn them into real cards and thin the other 2 out of your deck.
It's pretty fringe.
It's super fringe. I don't think that this is good at all. I don't think that it really makes sense as a card, but...
Upside is far too weird.
Yeah. Literally tagging the card in their hand is the only reason I play those. When I board them in, and I cast them half the time for the card I boarded them in for, and half the time for a card that I think they have in their hand. Like,
yeah,
I just turn it into a bad Cabal Therapy too often to like this version of it.
Which, I mean, really goes to show you like how fucking crazy Cabal Therapy was.
Yeah, Therapy is...
What an outrageous card.
Yeah, Therapy is an all-time fucked up card.
It's like up there with like Ancestral Recall, and I don't mind saying it. Like,
yeah, it's really absurd.
The card level is unmatched and will never be obsoleted.
Yep. Speaking of obsoleted, make obsolete. 2B instant. Creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 until end of turn. Sure, totally fine effect to exist. Kind of plays as a combat trick in limited more often than not, but with servos and stuff running around, it can also just be Plague Wind enough of the time. I'm on board. Totally sideboardable and constructed as well. Marionette Master, 6 mana, 1/3, Fabricate 3. Whenever an artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to its power.
This card is fucking amazing. I had no idea that second clause was even there. I just read Fabricate and I thought I had flavor text. This card's crazy.
Yeah, so the rub with this card is that, or the branching path, is that you can make them be drained for 4 each time instead of 1, or you can have 3 things running around that will drain them for 1 each.
Yeah, give me a 4/6 in this set seems very good.
Yes, 4/6 is huge. 4 bodies is a lot, and the ability is not irrelevant. This thing is definitely a bomb in limited. Not quite like max out, always slam first pick bomb like some of the ones we've gone through, but definitely a bomb card. But 6 mana is probably not quite the price point for constructability, but I wouldn't be too shocked if there was like some combo deck that could just play this on 6 and kill with like things already in play that sacrifice.
I just like, maybe that's true.
I doubt it. Like, it's possible.
But even if the worst case scenario comes up, like this is like a very bad Cloudgoat Ranger, which is to say, pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
the difference between 5 and 6 is just like too much for constructed, though.
That card, like that Helioid card, that like 6 drop, 2 white and 4 you get 1/1s for Devotion to White. It reminds me of that card.
That thing was like unplayable too, right?
In terms of like worst case scenarios, it's not all that bad.
Sure.
But you need to have a better case scenario on your top end.
Yeah, exactly.
4/6 is very good.
The problem is that this thing's competing with like Chandra Pyromaster and stuff like.
Oh, I mean, in limited, of course.
Yeah, in limited, it's very, very good. Maulfist Squad, which is incidentally the name of my indie punk band. 4 mana, 3/1 Menace, Fabricate 1. Sure, another really aggressively stanced card. The X1 with Menace we see show up yet again. If you're just like super on the beatdown, you can put the power on it, and if you're in a race situation, you can make a chump blocker and have your pseudo evasion guy as well.
And I like that it didn't have a fucking stupid clause like it has Menace if you have a +1/+1 counter on it or something, crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Well, because you want the Menace when it doesn't have the counter. Midnight Oil, 2 BB enchantment, and ETB with 7 hour counters. How many hour counters have we seen?
They're your counters.
They're all of our counters.
This card, I read a Reddit thread on this, and I was really, I was unconvinced at first, but then I kind of got on board the more he talked about it. he was saying this card has an extremely good flavor because of the way it's worded and the way the abilities are. And again, like hear me out here because it was kind of cool the more I thought about it.
All right.
So it comes into play with 7-hour counters on it, and that's usually the case. Like when you're going in all nighter, how many hours you're going to go into the night, and like you get like that 1 hour, 2 hours sleep at the end, and you think it's a good idea, right?
Sure.
And you got at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card and remove 2 hours. So you get, and if you think about cards as like thoughts or like ideas, like
which they are.
You're like using hours to get your like ideas and thoughts together to like use them to try to do something, right?
I'm with you.
Information of some kind. And your maximum hand size is 0. Maximum hand size is the number of counters on midnight oil, meaning the more that you stay up, the less you can remember. Like you get more flaky, you get like really strung out, and your mind doesn't work as well. So your maximum hand size, you can't hold on to all your ideas in a really fluid, versatile way. You just lose that ability to do that. And then it says whenever you discard a card, lose 1 life, meaning that whenever like
when you lose a thought, you're punished for it.
Well, if you're at a meeting, the next day, and you're strung out, you only have an hour of sleep, or like playing Magic or something, the mistakes you make because you can't keep all your ideas together cost you a life.
I love it.
Discard your card at the end of the turn.
I'm super on board.
Yeah, it was really cool.
I like it a lot, and the art kind of sells it too. This guy's like exhausted, just working away, and there's like this starry background behind him.
It looks like a laboratory maniac when he's not like performing.
Yeah, I like it. Playability-wise, it reminds me a lot of Kulfner's Plans, where it's like, this is sort of the last card you play, and it's really, really strong, and like gets you home.
They've had cards like this like ever since like All Hallows Eve, like it's like weird 4-mana black enchantments that do something that you're not quite sure is good until way late in the season.
Yep.
Like Kulfner's Plan was that was the most obvious example of that, but they've had it ever since like Phyrexian Etchings and
yeah. Well, Kulfner's Plans was the first one that was like truly great, and was also like it took people forever to catch on to it, so it's memorable historically. But yeah, this is they do this effect in red a lot nowadays, this specific iteration of it. But it is in the same vein as those types of cards, which I really, really like.
It's a free madness outlet. As someone mentioned, that's pretty cool.
I mean, sort of.
Hard to get free madness.
Yeah, eventually it is. Eventually it is, and by then, like, you've drawn a bunch of cards and done other stuff. But yeah, I like the card, and it's like almost certainly going to be playable in limited and potentially fringe sideboard constructible. Mind Rot, we know what that one is. Mind Rot just gets better and better as Magic goes on, because the cards just get better and better and more expensive. Morbid Curiosity, 1 BB is an additional cost to cast it. Sack an artifact or creature. Draw cards equal to the converted mana cost of the sacked permanent.
Life's Legacy couldn't make it, and it's better than this card, and I tried my fucking damnedest. Okay? So this card doesn't have a prayer or hope anywhere. Maybe and even in like Affinity, sacking a Mirror Force, like no. The answer is no. Trust me, the answer is no. I've done all the research on Life's Legacy you can possibly do. Become Immense couldn't help it. Nothing could help it.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know.
You cannot win with this card.
They want you to try and do something Johnny with it, but it doesn't seem like it has the right numbers.
Sacking like an Echo Wellspring is about the best you can hope for.
Yeah. Night Market Lookout. 1/1 for 1. Becomes tapped. Each opponent loses a life and gains a life.
This is a Pulse Tracker I can get behind.
I was gonna say, we've seen similar before. Pulse Tracker didn't gain you a life, but had the
Vampire.
Yes, the tribal synergies. But this is another hyper aggressive card. This is probably only going to be in the most aggressive versions of the limited decks, yes. And if there is a like Sui Black constructed deck, then this will be there as well.
If it was a 1/2, it might be very good.
Yeah, because then you can extend the purpose after, but not quite. But it is also like if you just have something to tap it, like a crew or whatever, like you can kind of get a couple licks in early, and then just use it as like your Urban Siphon Mage or whatever, and kill them over the course of the next 6 turns that they have to leave. They can't race because they have to leave all their blockers back, otherwise you alpha. Stuff like that. Yeah. Could end up being good in that situation. Nauseous Gear Hulk. 6 mana, 5/4 menace. ETB, destroy a creature, gain life equal to its toughness. Yeah, I mean, Necrotal, whatever.
Dark Hatchling. I mean, it's just like another amazing, version of a card that always exists in these sets.
Yep, and they're almost always better than this because they're way cheaper. But
yep, the gaining life really goes a long way, though.
I believe it. It's going to be great in limited and not constructible, like pretty clearly. If there's some sort of mid-range reanimator deck like a Solar Flare, it'll probably end up there. But
it sucks that you can't target itself though to gain 4 life. It's just
6 mana gain 4. Is that too good of a mode that they couldn't put it on it?
It's just too much.
Yeah, I guess.
Templators.
That's like if you're gonna do that, black is the place to do it.
I know.
Opal Chase Daredevil. 4 mana, 4/2.
Sure.
Return, or whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may return it from your graveyard to your hand.
This has potential.
This thing is...
Veilborn Ghoul, it's every one of these cards deserves 2 looks.
Yep. Yeah, 4/2 is the perfect stat to really, grindhouse somebody down after an aggressive start.
It can block.
Oh, it can totally block.
That's new.
And as if you couldn't tell already, it tells you that it's a pilot so that it can, that it can crew.
I crew.
Oh, we crew.
I wrote crew.
4 mana, 3/4. The Prakata Club Security, the bouncer.
Black never gets a card like this. Just because I've never seen it before.
Yeah, I mean, 3/4 for 4, no drawbacks. It's not even 2 BB, it's 3B. What?
I don't think it's ever happened outside of a mythic rare.
Yeah. And the fact that it's not even 2 BB, it's 3B is this is very out of the norm. But Aetherborn or not, what we're used to. So this is just another really solid card, and this is one of the bridge cards that'll get you. You'll play this whether you're the aggressive version or the control-A version of the black deck.
I just looked it up. In Magic's history, there's been 2. One's in Conspiracy Commander or something, Born of the Gods, Fate Unraveler, it's a rare. The other one's a mythic, and otherwise there's not a single black creature other than those 2 one mythic, one rare. That's 3 and a B, or 2 BB, that's a 3/4. Just period.
I mean, Kaladesh.
No, that's the mythic.
Oh.
I was just, the other one was just the one you probably didn't know about.
Yeah. Yeah, it is not a normal stat line.
Bizarre.
I dig it. Rush of Vitality, 1B instant. Target creature gets +1/+0 and gains lifelink and indestructible until end of turn.
I'll take it.
Yeah, indestructible is also not one we generally see in black, but a cool effect.
I think it's thanks to the Void and Aetherborn.
Yep. Yeah, that's the only reason. I mean, look at the art; you can really tell. And the grotesque mutation type combat tricks that just gain a bunch of life out of nowhere have a lot of use, if not main deck, then in sideboards. Totally fine combat trick. It's also a really great re-trick, which I look for out of my tricks.
Ooh.
Subtle Strike, 1B.
Best card ever made. Sorry.
What?
This card is the best card I've ever seen in my whole life. Sorry.
Subtle Strike, 1B. Choose one or both. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. And or put a ++1 counter on a target creature.
What do you mean both?
What?
The fuck do you mean both?
What?
That's what I said. I'm like, both? What kind of both? What are you talking about? And
since when does black get insane combat tricks?
They've had Steel Strength was temporary, and it was still pretty good in that set. Consume Strength, they needed green around to get.
Well, the Malevolence one you had to kick, and it wasn't even a counter.
Dude, this just drives me crazy.
++1/+1 counters have significance besides just being permanent.
The black creatures die to servos, but then this 2-for-1 servos in a really efficient surprise way. Additionally, holy shit, all the cards that black has as 2-drops need exactly this card on turn 3.
Yeah. You attack your 3/1 menace into 2 servos, and then this thing kills them both and leaves your thing huge with a counter.
Or before combat, you kill one, pump up the other, and get right past it. It
reminds me of Consume Strength, really fucked up combat tricks.
It's kind of a really it's a bad galvanic arc, but I mean that in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, that card's sick. Syndicate Trafficker, 1B, 3/1. 1, sack an artifact, put a +1 counter on it, it gains indestructible until end of turn. So here is our sacrifice outlet for artifacts, as well as a really good use for otherwise useless artifacts, as well as an aggressively stanced, hard to deal with, cheap black creature.
So it is a rare, so limited won't be like a super huge factor, but it's one of the few cards where I'm like, whenever a non-artifact piques my interest in Affinity, I have to talk myself out of it, and it's usually not very hard. But this card is just like a very strong card.
Yeah.
Like, it could be like a 5/3 indestructible, like, not difficult.
No. Yeah, that can, like, still just...
It's kind of like an Etched Champion, but like Etched Champion and Ethereal Champion, whatever, the guy that's the blue one that gets really big, and Ethereal Champion, like a mix of those.
Yeah. Super strong.
But it's not an artifact, so I won't see it play, but like, it's just the card's just like...
Yeah, it's real close. Thriving Rats, 1B, 1/2, that price point again.
Yvonne Raiders, dude, this black is so aggressive.
Yeah, this is real aggressive. You get 2 energy, and when it attacks, you can pay 2 energy and put a +1 counter on it. Another use for the black energy, there hasn't been a lot so far, and we're already into the T's. So using energy for black might not be too easy, and this is one that can scale really quickly and aggressively. This thing is just really, really solid.
I love that it's just a 2/3 right out the gates, and that if it's a 3/4 on turn 4 attacking, that's just like a really hard to stop event. If you have any, if you play the draw 2 cards,
yeah,
then you're all set for like forever.
You're just good to go. Yeah, it's really, really strong.
Ebon Raiders is insane in this set.
Yeah, no, this thing is. I mean, I think that the turtle's also really good, but like the white one is pretty bad, and the blue one's real bad. Like, the blue one wants you to use energy for other stuff, but like there's, obviously a cycle of these, or not the blue one, the what's the red one? I feel like I've seen it, but I don't remember. But
I just had an idea, AJ. I typed it in the chat, but I was just thinking. You know how you keep energy counters on you, like you have energy counters?
Yeah.
What if like a set came out where you get to use poison counters, whether they're yours or not, and so there's a weird tension with the fact that you don't want to have too many in your pool. So you're playing spells that give you poison counters, other cards use the poison counters, and some spells you can't play because you'll just die. Also, your opponent could try to give you poison counters to try to put you over the edge, and it's like a leeches for previous sets, which is kind of a cool throwback.
That'd be sweet.
I think so too. I mean, that's like an infect answer in a weird way.
Yeah, that's cool design space. It's kind of hard because you like don't really want too many cards dealing with those zones, but that is interesting.
It's energy with plus, so like energy's already dealing with that zone, and this one just goes that much further, but
right.
not in a bad way.
Yeah, but like you can't kill their energy,
Well,
but I'm with you.
You can kill emblems maybe coming up. Who knows?
I was gonna say no, you can't, Greg.
Not that hard. Just
tidy conclusion, right? But there's a reason why they haven't printed that yet. Like, it took them a long time to print Destroy a Planeswalker because they don't want you to be able to just kill the things that they're making you make.
Yeah, but they can't help themselves. 4 years later, we got it.
Yeah, eventually everything is, eventually the sun's gonna burn out, Greg.
Well, Leeches was in the same set as Marsh Cobra, all right?
3BB. Destroy target creature at instant speed. You gain 1 life for each artifact you control. So again, this is one of the more controlling black cards. I mean, you'll play it in your aggro deck, but it's going to be really much better in your control deck. But instant speed, solid removal, if a bit expensive.
You're gonna get like 2 or 3 life, 4 life, maybe
Yep.
like a bunch, maybe.
No, I mean, like if you're the control version, you'll gain 4 or 5 life, and it'll be really, really good. And if you're the aggro version, it won't matter that you only gained 1 life.
I like that this because the card, because it's an instant, not a sorcery, which is like
Yes,
awesome.
exactly. If I'm gonna pay 5 mana, it better be an instant.
You can invest a lot of your mental fortitude to figure out like the best way to utilize the spell, and cards like that are generally pretty cool.
Yep. Underhanded Designs, 1B enchantment. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may pay 1. If you do, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Sack it. 1B, sack it. Destroy a creature. Activate this ability only if you control 2 or more artifacts.
That's easy.
Yeah, I mean, this is just really solid.
It's like a better Exalted.
Sure. I'm on board. Weaponcraft Enthusiast. 2B01 Fabricate 2.
They make them good. They just keep making them, man.
Yep. So this is another really solid, aggressive curve filler. This is actually like 3 bodies for 3 mana is constructible range.
Yeah, this is definitely like surf territory where like the tokens can do nothing, but now they're useful.
Yeah.
Enough of them.
Yeah, this card is a legit threat, and both modes are like legitimately good, and it matters choosing between them. Like some of the Fabricate cards, it's just like I always make a servo with this thing, or I always put a +1 counter on this thing. This one is interesting, and like I said,
Also, it's a StarCraft Zealot.
Sure, why not? For ire. The other thing, I mentioned it the other day, but I don't think I talked about it today. I love that the Fabricate 2s, you can't split.
Yes. Oh my God, yes.
I love that.
I didn't like it until you mentioned it. I didn't even think about it, but it would have been far worse if you could choose. And I think that they had to end up there. I don't think they started there.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Which makes me give them credit.
I agree. We're on to red.